All right, everyone, we have a major winter storm heading straight for the United States, and this is shaping up to be one of the most significant weather events of the season. Over the next few days, we are looking at heavy snowfall, dangerous ice accumulation, and even severe thunderstorms, all coming together to create a high-impact system that will affect millions of people. But that's not all right behind the storm. A powerful Arctic blast is set to bring the coldest temperatures many areas have seen in years, dropping temperatures to levels that haven't been recorded since 2021. Some locations are going to experience temperatures 30 to 50 degrees below normal, which means this won't just be an inconvenience. It will be a life-threatening situation in certain regions with such a complex and ever-evolving system. The forecast has shifted over the last 24 hours, bringing the storm farther south than originally expected. That means different areas are now at a greater risk for heavy snow and ice, while other locations that were expected to get a significant impact might see less than initially predicted. As this storm strengthens, it will bring widespread travel disruptions, power outages, and treacherous road conditions, making it essential to prepare ahead of time. So in today's update, we're going to go through everything you need to know, including the latest forecast adjustments, snowfall and ice predictions, and just how dangerous this Arctic cold will be. But before we get into the details, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. Right now, we're already seeing the early stages of this storm beginning to unfold across parts of the Central Plains. Snow is starting to develop in Kansas and Nebraska, while a surge of moisture coming in from the Pacific Ocean is colliding with an area of energy moving over the Rocky Mountains. This is the initial phase of what will soon become a massive, slow-moving winter storm, expected to intensify dramatically as it moves eastward. As the energy from the west begins interacting with cold air already in place, snowfall rates will pick up quickly, and by tomorrow, we're going to see some of the heaviest accumulations of the entire storm setting up across southern Missouri, southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma, and northern Arkansas. Snowfall totals in these areas will be measured in double digits, with some locations likely exceeding a foot of snow before the system finally moves out. At the same time, while heavy snow is falling in the central part of the country, we are also dealing with a significant ice storm threat developing further south. Cold air settling into North Texas, southeastern Oklahoma, and Arkansas will set the stage for dangerous freezing rain, which will accumulate on roads, power lines, and trees, creating extremely hazardous conditions. Areas that don't see snow will instead be dealing with cold rain, particularly across East Texas and Louisiana, where temperatures will remain just above freezing. But as the storm moves eastward, conditions will rapidly deteriorate, bringing a mix of snow, sleet, and freezing rain to parts of the Tennessee Valley and into the mid-Atlantic by Wednesday. Over the last few days, we've already seen how powerful these winter systems can be. Just recently, the storm that moved through the south over the weekend ended up producing around a dozen tornadoes impacting areas in the Tennessee Valley and Dixie Alley. In addition to that, we now have official confirmation that Mississippi was hit by the strongest tornado of the year so far, an E33 tornado with peak winds of 150 mph. This tornado struck on Wednesday just west of Westboro and caused significant structural damage in rural eastern Mississippi. If you were following along on the channel, you know we were covering this storm live as it happened, and it was clear from the start that this was going to be a powerful and dangerous tornado. Thankfully, despite the intensity of the storm, there were no fatalities reported, which is an incredible relief. However, it serves as an important reminder that winter storms don't just bring snow and ice. They can also generate severe thunderstorms and tornadoes, adding another layer of danger to these already high-impact events. Now, focusing back on the upcoming storm, we have seen some major changes in the forecast over the last 24 hours. The National Weather Service has now issued an extensive list of winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories, and winter storm watches covering an enormous portion of the country. Winter storm warnings are currently in effect for parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, and Tennessee, where the heaviest snowfall is expected. Meanwhile, winter weather advisories stretch from the Central Plains all the way into Montana and South Dakota, extending as far south as North Texas. Further east, winter storm watches are now posted for North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware, where we expect a mix of significant snowfall and dangerous ice accumulation over the next couple of days. As we move into tomorrow morning, snowfall will become widespread, stretching from Kentucky all the way back into eastern Colorado. Meanwhile, freezing rain will begin to accumulate in southern Oklahoma, creating treacherous road conditions. Areas further south, like Texas and Louisiana, we'll see cold rain instead of snow, but don't let that fool you. The combination of heavy rain and rapidly falling temperatures could still lead to slick conditions on bridges and overpasses. By the afternoon, the storm will reach peak intensity, producing heavy snowfall, gusty winds, and dangerous ice accumulation across a broad area. As we head into Wednesday morning, the system will begin shifting eastward, but we are far from done. Snow will continue falling across Kentucky and Tennessee, though it may start to weaken slightly as it pushes into the Appalachians. However, the ice storm threat will continue growing, especially for parts of northern Georgia, northern Alabama, and Mississippi. The real trouble begins by Wednesday afternoon when the system starts to re-intensify over the mid-Atlantic, bringing another round of heavy snow and ice to North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware. The storm itself is a huge concern, but the Arctic air behind it is just as dangerous, if not worse. By Tuesday morning, parts of the northern plains, Midwest, and central plains will be 30 to 50 degrees below normal. This extreme cold will continue expanding eastward on Wednesday, pushing into the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and the Northeast. By Thursday morning, the deep freeze will reach all the way down to the Gulf Coast, bringing record-breaking low temperatures to multiple states. Looking at the weather radar for tomorrow morning, we'll begin to see light to moderate snow beginning to develop in Nebraska, Kansas, and parts of southern Illinois and Indiana. By mid-morning, this snow will continue to expand into Oklahoma. And in some of those areas, freezing rain will also be a concern. As the day progresses, this snow will intensify, particularly in southeastern Kansas and northern Oklahoma, where we could see heavier snow by the afternoon. The icing will continue throughout the day, especially in Arkansas, where convective freezing rain could become an issue by 6 p.m. Tuesday, and that will continue into the evening by 11 p.m. Tuesday, snow will be making its way into western Kentucky and Tennessee, bringing additional snow to those areas. For places like Memphis, snow is expected to begin overnight and continue into the early morning hours on Wednesday. In Nashville, snow should start falling early Wednesday morning as well, and cities like Lexington, Kentucky, and Knoxville, Tennessee will also experience heavy snow during the early hours. Charleston, West Virginia will see snow around the same time, as will northern Alabama, where areas like Huntsville could also see snow around Wednesday morning. While all of this snow is developing in the north, there's also a chance for severe weather in the southern U.S. tomorrow. A marginal risk of severe weather is in place from Houston to New Orleans, and the main concern here will be damaging winds, although there is also a small chance for isolated tornadoes. As we move into Tuesday afternoon and evening, we'll see stronger storms develop in eastern Texas and southern Louisiana, which will move eastward into the early hours of Wednesday morning. These storms will bring the possibility of strong winds, hail, and a very small chance of tornadoes in places like the Florida Panhandle, southern Mississippi, and extreme southern Alabama. It's important to stay vigilant in these areas as the storms continue to develop. In terms of snow accumulation, southeastern Kansas and southwestern Missouri will likely see more than 6 inches of snow, with Kansas City expected to receive 4 to 6 inches. Southeastern Kansas, especially areas near Coffeyville and Pittsburgh, could see up to 10 inches of snow, and Wichita should expect 3 to 6 inches. Areas along the I-44 corridor in Missouri, including Joplin, Springfield, and Rolla, may see anywhere from 6 to 10 inches of snow, with some parts of central Missouri, including Warsaw and Lebanon, potentially getting over 10 inches. In St. Louis, about 2 to 4 inches of snow are expected, while Memphis and Nashville could see around 1 to 3 inches. Lexington, Kentucky, and Louisville are also expected to get 2 to 4 inches, with the totals generally being quite significant across the affected regions. Looking ahead, once this winter storm moves east, we'll still see some lake-enhanced snow showers across Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and Tennessee by Thursday. However, the biggest issue for the Carolinas will be ice, not snow. North Carolina, especially the northern regions, could see significant ice accumulation, leading to dangerous travel conditions and potential power outages. Areas along the I-95 corridor from Rocky Mount to Fayetteville could see more than a quarter inch of ice, so if you're traveling in those areas, be prepared for tricky road conditions. After this storm system clears, the weather pattern is expected to stabilize. A big ridge will build in the western part of the country, bringing warmer temperatures to places like Southern California and Arizona. Meanwhile, the central U.S. will likely see near normal temperatures, but the southeast will remain below average for a little while. By the end of the month, though, warmer temperatures should start to move eastward, and we may even experience a break from the cold as we move into March. Thanks again for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.